Dive. Dive.
Code red and 4 compartment middle level.
Torpedoes in the water!
No, I never have thought I was smart. I thought the people I dealt with were dumb, including you.
Joe, hit us with the Bruce Buffer.
No.
Come on.
No, I'm not even going to try it.
All right, we're live. Okay, episode 9 of the Too Fast podcast. Our first guest this week is Macey. Macey, can you give us a brief introduction before we get started?
Yeah, my name is Macey. I have met different parts of this group through my husband. He went, I don't even know how long y'all have known. Some of you have known him.
10 years? Almost 10 years?
9, 10 years, yeah, at least.
Wow. He has been active duty for, I think it'll be 13 years this summer. We've been married for, it'll be 5 years this summer. And then, so I'll talk more about like Navy spouse life, wife life. But I'm also the FRG president for his boat. He is on a submarine here in San Diego. And I have been the FRG president for over 2 years, which is mind-blowing. And I've got another year left on my term. So,
Jeez.
What does FRG stand for?
That is the Family Readiness Group. I help support all of the families of the boat and the sailors. So, like, one of my big projects right now, as we're gearing up for deployment, is like getting families excited for like calendar squares and halfway boxes, and then single sailor boxes. So it's exciting on the family front. Sad that we have to say goodbye, but also like the sailors that on halfway night get big celebrations. So
very nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you kind of went into some of what the FRG does for like gearing up for deployment, but can you expand on the role that the FRG plays kind of in general?
So every branch should have something similar. The names are slightly different. Some of them are SFRG, which is Service Member or Sailor Family Readiness Group. I can't remember the different names for the other branches of the military. But it's just support and community. It's people who are in your command or on your shore duty or wherever, just try to get together and have a good time, because you can generally you can relate to something. You all have a service member in that unit or area, so there's at least one thing to rely on. And for us, we don't have family here in Southern California, so I have to build our own community. And you guys have been friends at different times and have been that community, but obviously we all live in different areas now, so can't rely completely on calling Amber for babysitting unless she wants to like fly over, which won't be.
I'll come out.
Yeah, right. But, having people in the immediate vicinity and that community here, I've met so many new people who are now all over the world. Actually, friends of ours just moved to Italy. It's just community based. And one thing that I've done since taking over for Matt's command is we do First Friday for the FRG. So like in June, it was an open invite for the entire boat to go to Dave & Buster's. The month prior to that, we didn't do anything in May. We did sub ball. But we've done all sorts of different restaurants or playgrounds, or we do breweries. And just the first Friday night of every month, I try to get as many people as I can together and just have a good time. And I've met, like I said, so many spouses and families that I would have never had the chance to meet and spend time with and get to know because of the FRG.
So do you usually, at those events, do you usually get a pretty good turnout?
It depends on the season of the boat. When I was first asked to take over 2 years ago, they had just gotten home from deployment, and I thought it was a 1-year term, and I was like, cool, we're going into dry dock. I thought it was just a placeholder. And it was for that first year when they were in dry dock. The guys were home. Nobody wanted to get together. We were soaking up. They had just gotten home from an 7 or 8 month deployment. Matt had joined in the middle of that deployment. So for us, I think it was like 6. But everybody just wanted to enjoy their family time, which was fine. So we were not doing events at that point. I think we had done maybe 3 or 4 events that entire. They got home in June until like that rest of the year. Like I think we didn't do anything until the fall. We did a picnic and then we did a Christmas party. And then as we've been gearing, I was voted in again.
Oh, it's a vote. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was asked to run for president. Yeah, June of 2022, right after deployment. We did turnover. I was voted in. They did turnover, and then they voted to keep me in. Our command's bylaws at one point had said like you can only hold your position for 1 year. So when I took it and they were just going into dry dock, I was like, yes, like I can never be president again.
Right.
It's super easy. I never have to be president and lead for a deployment because that was my biggest fear is I'm leading potentially 120, 150, depending on the crew, that many number of families. I know we're a small submarine compared to a carrier, but that's still a lot of families that I didn't want the pressure of like, they're all looking for me. At me.
Right.
Can you explain a little bit, and you don't have to if it's outside your wheelhouse, but can you explain a little bit about the differences between the function and purpose of an FRG versus an ombudsman and how, if at all, they work together?
Absolutely. Ombudsman is formal. She is generally, and like right now, ours is female. It's a civilian spouse who is the point person for families to get command information. She gives the boat schedule. She gives extension updates, like things like that. It is the formal, like, oh goodness, something happened. I've got a sick kid. I need that information to go to the boat for both ways. It's the formal route. FRG is fun. It is.
Gotcha.
I get to do all the picnics, all of the bounce houses, the David Buster. Like I get to do all the fun. But I also do still connect families with resources. I've had people reach out different ways who have questions that do need to be directed to the ombudsman because it is more formal. But if we're just sitting having dinner somewhere and they're like, hey, have you heard of a resource for TRICARE or maybe food pantry stuff? Or I'm struggling with childcare. I have access to a lot of lists.
Right.
And can give that to families as well. We've done resource meetings in the past where instead of doing like a fun dinner night, we sit in more of a conference room and I have guest speakers from like Red Cross or Navy Marine Corps Relief Society, Base Legal, Fleet and Family Service is a huge resource that really gets underutilized and nobody talks about.
Agreed.
I think the FRG is the same way too. Like when we were on the boat, like
don't worry, I'm getting to that.
I couldn't even tell you who our FRG president was.
Every command is different. And when you guys had asked me to be on, I reached out to so many friends through different commands because I know how I run it. And I've been president for so long and our families know me. And I'm constantly posting to our Facebook page. I send emails once or twice a month. We're trying to get a newsletter going just because both the ombudsman and I were talking recently and talked about the number of resources that her and I are both almost overwhelmed with at this point. And we have no way of getting that to families. And I know, like, I talked to one of my girlfriends who's on a surface boat here or a surface ship here in San Diego, and they don't have one. And her husband's actually on a deployment and they do not have an FRG.
Yeah.
How? Beyond me.
So have you ever been in a situation as a Navy spouse outside of the FRG where you weren't kind of running the show and had a negative experience with it or no experience with it?
Yes and no. When Matt and I had lived in Charleston, he was on shore duty, so I didn't really care about the connections.
He was always home, right?
Right, like he was home every night,
Yeah.
or like unless it was, I guess, well, he was home at least some point of every day because it was shore duty. And he was on rotating shift work, so I got a little crazy. But then when we moved to San Diego, he had joined the boat like in the middle of deployment, and he flew out, met the boat. For whatever reason, they couldn't get my like information sheet from the boat back to San Diego.
Okay.
So I had a 1-year-old who's 1.5-year-old. I was pregnant with a high-risk pregnancy, and I could not talk to the ombudsman because this fancy piece of paper that said, hey, this is my sailor, and yes, I give permission for Macey, for the ombudsman and the FRG to talk to Macey. It took almost 2 months for that piece of paper to finally make it back to San Diego. And like I said,
it's unbelievable how many times different versions of that happen, be it for family stuff, pay stuff, health stuff, like, yeah.
And I had nothing. They were at that point on deployment, underwater. I had his email, which then
if it gets through,
it's the whole thing. So I had no information. Matt had no information about the kids and I.
Right.
And I felt so, and it wasn't our ombudsman or the FRG. It wasn't directly their fault. Like there are so many safety protocols on why that fancy piece of paper has to be in our hands, because it's
all about operational security. Yeah,
it is. And I respect that and I understand that. But being in a brand new city with a little one pregnant by yourself, like,
I'm with you. I agree.
Yeah.
And they actually had asked me right before homecoming. I was at the homecoming. We were doing signs and making posters and we had the FRG was hosting an event. So in between, Matt joined the boat in December, and then would have been late May. It was probably March when they finally got that fancy piece of paper, and I finally got to have a meeting with the ombudsman, get all of the information. The command got all the information about our family situation, the pregnancy, and everything. And then, they came home in June. I actually had my youngest, who had tried to interrupt, on June 2nd. The boat actually got home on June 5th. Matt, they were able to get him off on June 2nd. He did miss delivery.
Classic Matt, missing delivery.
No, that was definitely captain's fault.
I'm
that's a joke.
He should have taken control of the tugboat and made them go faster.
As soon as in March, I had let the command formally know and had sent, like, it wasn't a Red Cross letter because I wasn't having a baby at that or like wasn't in labor at that point, but I had, like, my OB had written like a formal letter saying like Macey will have a C-section on June 2nd.
Right. There's no maybe. Yeah.
Was aware.
Right.
And there was some.
Oh, you mean this June 2nd?
Oh. Wait, are you using the Julian calendar?
They missed the memo. They actually were supposed to be home in May, had an extension.
Classic.
It's the Navy. And because they had deemed him mission essential. So
let's say this is kind of going on a different path, but what would you say to someone who maybe is a spouse or a parent or a sibling or something like that of someone who's stationed on the USS Hampton from 2015 to 2021, and there's no, like, they've never even heard of deployment boxes or halfway boxes or ever been to an FRG meeting or know that it exists. So what can people do? Like, what can family members do to either find out about it or get involved or start it up or something like that?
That is a very loaded question.
Of course
some
it
of
is.
those, some of those questions I was actually recently asked by different people, because it is PCS season. We've had a ton of new sailors join the boat, and the number of moms or sisters or friends who reach out to the FRG of, this is our first deployment, what do we do? And they all have people from in their ears saying, oh, well, you know, we send mail, we send packages, they've got Wi-Fi, and it's like this, for us, they're on a submarine.
Yeah.
And
no, they don't.
Yeah, no, that
whatever you hear from your friends in the Army or surface Navy, like.
So you say that the new families get in touch with you, but how do they know to do that through the sailor only? Is that kind of how it has to start?
When the sailor joins the boat, they have a lot of paperwork to fill out. One of them is the fancy sheet that says, is the FRG or the ombudsman allowed to talk to your family? This, at least for us, that's how, I don't know if other commands work this way. For us, the sailor has to put, like, my husband had to put my name and my email and say, yes, the FRG is allowed to talk to me.
And then is that supposed to kick off? So is the outreach to start at the FRG level, or does it start from the families? Like, how's it supposed to work?
For us, it's both. We have some families who are proactive and reach out to us first before I get that piece of paper with their contact information.
Gotcha.
Sometimes it comes from the sailor, and I'm sending emails to families, and they're like, who are you?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, your sailor
didn't tell you. Yeah.
So sometimes, like, it just depends. The biggest thing would be have your sailor reach out. Every command should have an ombudsman. They should also have an FRG.
I think every command will have an ombudsman. It's just whether or not they perform their functions. I think they have to have an ombudsman.
I think it's a nav admin.
It's probably a mill level. Yeah.
Milper's man.
And then the FRG is highly encouraged. It is volunteer based. So it's the other struggle. And that's part of the reason why I have been president as long as I've been president, is because I do really enjoy it. I've had spouses come and go over for treasurer, secretary, VP. And the way that his tours lined up, I was going to be here the longest. So people wanted me to stay president, which was great. And I'm honored, but it can't be a one-man show.
Of course. Yeah.
And
speaking of, sorry, go ahead.
No, my hands get tied. There was one point it was me and a treasurer. And when it's me and one other person doing it, our events were a lot farther apart and things like that. Right now, I do have a full support team. I guess technically we don't have a secretary, but I do have a VP. I do have a treasurer. I've got 3 advisors. We've got committee teams working in the process because of deployment. So I've got a lot more support now than 2 years ago.
So a little bit on the logistics side, where do the resources that the FRG use, where does they come from? If you know. What? So if you're going to host an event at a restaurant or a Dave & Buster's or something, how do you fund that? Basically how do you fund that?
Yeah. So the FRG can have funding. We fundraise. We've done boat blankets. We've done Christmas ornaments.
That's a great idea.
Hats, t-shirts, I've got a whole list. I've got a running list going for deployment of fundraisers, and just boat merch. So we can tap into that. For Dave & Buster's, for the first Fridays, we really try not to tap into our fundraising money, just because, people are invited and I remind them of the different military discounts or whatever the company that we go to is willing to help us with. And then families are expected right now to pay for their own meals. But like we've got another event coming up, and the FRG is completely paying for childcare.
Wow.
So
That's huge.
right.
Yeah.
Like I would rather not spend money on whoever wants to come out and go play games on a Friday night. And we do have bylaws of how we can spend the money. Like the FRG is not allowed to pay for any alcohol.
Boo.
Yeah.
Actually, when I took over, the FRG wasn't even allowed to have alcohol at the event.
Oh, wow.
We had a lot less involvement.
Yeah,
at that
I guess
point.
so. Yeah, that makes sense, right?
So we
might as well have it at Chuck E. Cheese.
Actually, Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese. I'm so sick of Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese got good pizza.
We had my 4-year-old at a birthday party with friends. They had beer and wine at Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay, well there goes that then. Never mind.
Okay, yeah,
Big Rat and Child Casino now serving alcohol. I didn't know that.
You're not going to spend all your tokens unless you're liquored up.
So we had to be very careful before the bylaws, before we were able to vote to change the bylaws. With like the one rule of like, hey, the FRG cannot have alcohol. Now it just says the FRG cannot provide. We've got rules on like if you drink, you're not allowed to drive, and like there's just all the rules that come from that liability. But we've got a lot better turnout now because people are able to go to a dinner and have a glass of wine because most of us are over the age of 21. I mean, we do have some very young guys on our command or young girlfriends and wives. So it's just, we try to be as inclusive as possible. I try to, but I do know that there are multiple commands that they're not inclusive. It might be an officer, might be run by like officer wives or chief wives, when they try to keep it very like cliquey.
I think that's a very common thing.
Yeah, and that's the saddest part.
And I hope in my heart that that's not like, oh, we're, this group and I only want people who look like me, act like me, talk like me, and are of my husband's same rank. Like I can't fathom that.
It does happen.
It does. I mean, I can't imagine running an organization like that. So, I mean, being a good and honest volunteer, I think, is the biggest thing. And if you are willing to step out of your comfort zone and do it, like, it is very rewarding. I've met, like I said, phenomenal friends who are now all over the world. I've got friends moving to Japan. I've got friends in Italy. We've got families now who have spent time with our FRG who I could go anywhere.
Yeah.
Almost.
Right. You'll have contacts.
And I've got somebody.
Yeah.
Or if I hear through the grapevine, like, or they've got friends coming from their duty station and they're coming to San Diego, like they'll send me a Facebook message, even if they're not on our boat.
Right.
Or Matt's boat and with our command. And they're like, hey, so-and-so is coming, like, and I'm like, yep, send them my information. Like, if they need anything. I mean, Mikey, you helped us. Helped Matt build the couch when we had just moved. So it's things like that those communities just, it's amazing to have in that.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that a little bit, like from a sailor perspective, having spent my entire sea tour on a boat that had very poor command climate, if we would have had an effective, even a present FRG, I think that has a lot of potential impact in quality of life and morale that probably isn't seen or appreciated by the families.
Well, it's quality of life and morale for not just the family that gets to experience FRG while the sailors at sea, but the sailor at sea knowing that their family members have support.
Yeah, exactly. And to know that you're going to do things like halfway boxes and deployment stuff, like that would have made a difference, even a small difference. And so I think that if there's anyone listening that wants to or doesn't know about an FRG or wants to get involved, like, it does have an impact.
It does. And like I said, the resources that are out there, I didn't realize that it was kind of in the shot. one of the projects that I just got done doing is for deployment is the Hug a Hero doll. So both of my kids will have a little.
Oh,
This is the old one.
cool. Look at that.
Is that life size?
No, it is. And then it's just a little pillow, and it's actually got a little keepsake Heidi.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
So,
That's adorable.
There are pictures, I should find them, of this doll in the delivery room OR.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So Matt was still there.
When he showed up, was he dressed like that?
He was. He came with
figured.
his bag and everything.
Nice.
The nurses are like, I know where you belong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smelling like the boat.
Yeah.
He did. My hospital room smelled like a deployment.
Amy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the nurses kept asking me what that smell was, and I was like, "It's home."
Absolutely.
But
I did not answer that.
It's really nice to hear this side of volunteer engagement for and support for families and service members, because like Kenny said, we didn't really experience that at our Sea Doer. And a lot of sailors also don't get that experience. And especially now where you have these volunteer only support organizations shutting down across the country. Like the USO was a very big help for our family at the time. And the USOs are gone.
Wow,
starting to
really?
disappear. So
Man,
I did not know that.
2022, they started shutting down USOs across the country.
That is sad.
Damn, I
So
didn't know that. Not good.
all those resources, they had a little playground, or not a playground, but they had like a play area for the kids, and they had free snacks and stuff. So when we would walk around Point Loma, we would stop in, let the kids play with other kids, meet other family members stopping in, grab some snacks for the kids. That stuff's gone all across the country. So because the USO is a volunteer only force, so really what you've been able to do for your command and just helping other people outside of it as well.
And keep it going.
Yeah.
And get the excitement going. I think COVID, I kind of started this earlier, COVID was a really hard time for everybody, but everybody just kind of got used to not having that social connection. And I think that's part of the reason my personal push for a lot of in-person events is because we are all very connected through Facebook and social media and the internet. But at the end of the day, if my kids get sick and I need somebody to go get one of them from daycare, like I can't call any of you. Like I would love to. And I know that you will help me in a second. But I need people here.
Right.
Yeah.
And also with like the deployments or underways, like somebody who's in that same season of boat schedule with the underways or with the deployment compared to like I said, I've got a lot of friends who are surface, and if the schedules don't line up, their sailor is home. It's great and it's so exciting, but she might not understand my frustration on a Saturday night at 7:00 when I'm just tired and the kids are running around. And she's like, well, it'll be okay, and very supportive, versus me texting a girlfriend whose husband is also gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like just being in that same situation, it's a lot easier to relate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
you guys got any other specific questions that you think we should hit on? I think I'm tapped out.
I'll just throw in too that there was no FRG outreach or ombudsman outreach for my wife when I was on my ship. I think providing childcare at the events is like huge because sometimes our ship would do stuff, and childcare was always the question of like whether or not we could go.
Mm-hmm.
And then selling boat swag is like such a good idea.
It's such a good idea.
I bought command ball caps for like my brother, my father-in-law, my brothers-in-law, my dad, grandpa, and they wear them like all the time. And they're asking for more stuff too, but the boat just doesn't have it. Like the boat is always they run out of coins, they run out of hats, they run out of everything. So
well, yeah, and I think it's a good idea to sell it through the FRG because then that's where your money's going instead of going to like your raffle prizes for field day or whatever the boat spends it on. It's going to the FRG.
Yeah.
So there are rules of what and how we can fundraise because of we can't compete with boat MWR.
Okay.
I've actually gotten special permission for some of the boat swag that is explicitly outlined in the rules that like the boat is supposed to sell coins or blankets or whatever.
Gotcha.
So some of it, but we work together, and that's the big thing. And our captain and the triad that we have currently in the last couple with the turnover have all been very supportive of open communication, very big support. And I know that this command or that type of command is kind of a unicorn, and we are focused on growing the family morale, the sailor morale. Like, we are so focused on climate and support for everybody that's why it looks so different,
right,
for us right now versus you guys 3, 5, 10 years ago. I think all of the sailors involved have gone through times where they didn't have support, and we're all kind of that's why I got involved, was I didn't have support, and I never wanted another person to go through a deployment feeling that alone. I know.
So how did you do that? Like, if there's somebody here watching and listening and saying like, oh, I want to do that too, like, how did you do that?
I would talk to, because we had an FRG already established, I had talked with them. I started going to meetings. It was at the final, right before deployment homecoming, when we were making the posters, that I was like, okay, like, after I have this baby, like, I knew that the president was PCSing. I was like, do you have anybody? And she was like, no. And they were at the point where if they didn't have somebody step up, they were going to shut down. Fleet and Family offers a class. If your command does not have an FRG, they will teach you. They will give you a book and all of the information to start one from the ground up. They will give you the stuff for the tax information. They'll tell you how to open different accounts. They'll tell you how to fundraise. So Fleet and Family is a huge resource for us. USO was and still kind of is a huge resource. We try to use them whenever possible, but they're like Mikey, like you said, like, they are also volunteer based. So the biggest thing, Navy Marine Corps Relief Society, I know a lot of volunteers through them. Like, there are so many organizations. Fleet and Family, I think some of the positions are paid, some of them might be volunteer. There's so many classes and resources that are out there, but getting people involved is hard.
Yeah,
it's really hard.
So to get on with some of the support stuff while we're on the topic, Military One Source, we used it all the time to try to link up with people. So anyone listening, Military One Source is a kind of a one-stop shop for all of the type of support groups that active duty and spouses can utilize. And specifically with Military One Source, they have FRG networking, essentially, where you can network between FRGs.
That's cool.
As long as the FRGs are actually being present, like Macey's. So, but yeah, no, it's huge to have that volunteer support, but trying to get it with people that don't want to volunteer and don't have, it's a tough situation for a lot of families.
I choose to believe that a crew of about 150 people, some of them are married, 50% or so. I think that knowledge is half the battle. And if people know that these things exist, I think you'd get volunteers to run them. It's just, it's hard to spread that message.
But I still get people, and more so the moms, to be stereotypical, it's probably more the moms who are not in San Diego. Yeah. But like, they find me on Facebook, or they'll find the FRG group on Facebook. A lot of the commands, it's like the command USS, insert your boat name. You said Hampton earlier. FRG. I'll get messages through that of, hey, how do I join? I just want to be on the Facebook page. And that's when we talked with them about, like, who is your sailor? Are they on the boat? Have they filled out the paperwork? I'm actually on a couple FRG Facebook pages that for other commands for surface boats, because they are public. So you can just go on Facebook and look up. I'm trying to think of who it was, but it was maybe like the Carl Vincent, and it was just FRG, and it was a public page.
Yeah.
And so you can see when their meetings are. I can see what they're doing for fundraisers. I can see different things. I've got friends on that ship, but also like some of their ideas. They've got different boat merch or things that we collaborate with. And if anybody is in San Diego specifically and needs resources, comment, share my stuff. I will connect anybody with as much as I can. I've actually helped a couple commands get FRG started.
Awesome.
So I'll help with bylaws. I will do so much just because the support has been.
Macey for FRG President of the Navy.
FRG pun.
Yes.
FRG pun.
I have done my time.
Well, Macey, thank you for all the things that you're doing for Matt and the command and the Navy and families. And thank you for coming on and sharing all that stuff. Is there anything that you want to close with?
No, I mean, just get involved. I think reach out. It is scary. It's hard. It's not always fun to meet new people, but there are good people out there who are in the same situation, who are looking for support as well as looking to support other people. So I think the biggest thing is just get involved with anything, at this point, any organization.
Yeah.
And find your support somewhere, because there are so many resources throughout the Navy and military that you are not alone, and there are people out there who have the same goals. So I think just find your community and build it, whether that is with the FRG or not. Do something
awesome
yourself.
Perfect.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. And tell Matt we said to go fuck himself. No, I'm just kidding.
tell him Joe said that.
And Joe, hit me with the Bruce Buffer. Come on, what are these stuff?
I'm not doing it.
I want a nice clean fight. Now let's get it on.
Yeah.
We are live.
Oh shit.
All right, second guest, Michael.
Yeah.
Would you please
pick a name? Pick any of the four, but I usually use Michael.
Would you please give us a brief introduction before we continue with our regularly scheduled programming?
Yeah, right on. Michael. I went through the training pipeline with a couple of these folks, and then I ended up in San Diego on the Carl Vinson for several years. And then I got out because I was smart enough to bounce as soon as they let me. So,
so no reenlistment whatsoever.
No.
Gotcha.
They fearmonger the crap out of you, as you know, right? So it seems like day one, you've signed your papers and you're still waiting to even get on the bus to go to boot. And they're like, so you're re-enlisting, right?
Yeah.
But no, I ran away. Pretty much the more time I spent in, the more I realized one was going to be it for me. So did my 6.
So how long? 6, okay.
So I think it would be great to have you come along with just the normal podcast stuff that we do. Because you offer a unique perspective, having been on a carrier. And so we'll do the part that we normally start off the show with now, which is questions from Amber. So let's do that.
Okay. So my first question is, what is the most unique thing that you packed in your sea bag for underways or deployments? I don't want to hear like toothbrush or anything. I like something weird.
I always had hot sauce. Not boat hot sauce, just my own hot sauce.
I don't think that's a pretty standard.
I know.
No, it's not. That's not standard. A lot of people didn't bring hot sauce.
No,
I made my own hot sauce too. That's true.
I make my own hot sauce currently. What's up?
Yeah. I brought hot sauce. What else? What else did I bring? It was.
I brought
actual written books. I don't know if any people.
Bring
written books anymore.
That's a bold move.
That's unique because two things. Well, really, it's all one thing, but Kindles are so big, are so popular, and books are so physically big that they take up valuable space.
Yeah,
I had a copy.
You're not fitting War and Peace under your fucking rag, dude.
No, but I had a copy of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations.
Zen and the Art of Fitting All This Shit in My Rack Bag.
I can pack more Zens, or I can pack a book.
No, not Zen. Zen. It's like Zen
as in like
motorcycle maintenance. Come on.
Oh.
He's talked about packing 6 millis.
Yeah,
that's what I want. Hey, look, them shit's busting, man. I had a couple of I went out the other night and for my boys going away, man, and we got fucking wasted, and I put one of them damn things in my mouth. I was about to fucking eat. That shit sent you into a different dimension, homie.
You should try the stuff from Sweden.
Yeah. Oh, we've done that. We've been there before. Kenny hooked it up.
I had a whole black market snooze trade going on the boat.
He would buy them by the box.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say actually I don't dip, I don't smoke, I don't anything, right? But the things that I would bring usually were tradables, right? So you just figure out who likes a particular brand, and you would bring like one log of dip.
That is smart.
And you wait and you wait and you wait, and then you're the guy.
Yeah.
What do you need done?
You could get somebody. You could probably get away with like putting a hit on somebody else for like 2 cans of dip, maybe even one, depending on how deep in the rotation you are.
Dude, if you go down to A Gang, they'll kill somebody for some dip.
Yeah,
yeah.
Or like right after you get extended, right, and you're like, now you really are the guy, and everybody's already pissed anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to tell the opposite story of that, our buddy Kyle, rest in peace. He would bring so he did dip, and he would bring exclusively snuff underway.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't even like it. And we would ask him, Kyle, why are you bringing snuff? And he said, that way, when people try to bum a lip off me, I can say yes, but they'll say no because they don't like it either.
And I'll never lose a pitch. Yep.
Dude, you are a psycho. He didn't even enjoy it.
Level strats.
Yeah.
I think the EMC would have done it. I think the EMC would have done snuff.
Yeah, probably.
Does anybody else have anything else unique?
I think the most unique thing I brought underway is 2 things. I brought a journal in 2015 when I went on deployment. That was interesting because I don't journal. But journal, I did journal the entire time that I was on that deployment, and I was journaling to a person. I was journaling to my girlfriend at the time, the entire time that I was journaling. Which I returned home and she cheated on me because we didn't have a fucking FRG. So thank you.
Bringing it back.
March 24th, you bitch.
And that was the end of his journaling career.
It is full circle in the fact that I thought about that. I was like, we didn't have an FRG. That's why she did that shit. And then I brought my entire PlayStation underway, Velcroed it to the area where your EAB mask is supposed to be. And then to play it, I had a VR headset. So it was basically like I had a 40-inch TV on my face. It was wonderful.
Until you sat up, right?
Yeah, I played an entire 2K season on that thing, me and Dylan. Me and Dylan would get off a watch and I'd be like, yo, I'm like our watch turnover would literally be like, yo, I'm at halftime. I'm winning by this much. Like this person hit this many threes. I'm trying to get this many threes. Like it was crazy.
Clippers are getting cooked.
That's very good. My thing's not that unique, but I would always bring a couple bags of Kit Kat, single mini bites. And I had a routine where every day after whatever meal I was eating based on my rotation, I would always grab a mouthful of Kit Kat mini bites before I would go relieve the watch, and I would just chew them on my way. So it'd be like I would have an omelet and waffles and then a mouthful of Kit Kats and then go take the watch.
Breakfast of champions.
Just something to look forward to every day. Yeah.
I didn't do anything crazy. I used to spend most of my time reading on my phone. I used to pack a ton of gum, and I would keep them open. Like the 5 gum boxes, I would keep them open, so it would act as kind of like a freshener.
An air freshener.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we didn't have a lot of space on subs, so I want to hear from the service guys because I know you guys had a lot more space.
Yeah, y'all got fucking extra racks.
Well, yeah, a buddy of mine did say that he had an extra rack too, so he had a lot of stuff. But yeah, let me know what kind of stuff have you seen people bring?
Ooh. I think the extra rack thing is a carrier thing. There was no extra racks on a cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah. So especially it depended on how, because this is actually different per ship, right? Where divisions are gonna end up being berthed. So on one carrier, they might put the reactor mechanical division, alongside also the other mechanics who work on the steam side. But then other boats don't do that at all. Some of them, the electricians and the ETs are together, some they're not, right? So actually the layout can be quite different, and it depends a lot on which berth you're in. Because for us, like the RC divers were always short racks. They would actually have to send their new people to other places because they just didn't have any place to put them.
Yeah, they were marginalized. Always.
Yeah, obviously, right? Yeah, just really, really traumatized by their experience having 2 years to do nothing but qual, and then they finally can qual maintenance, and then they don't do any maintenance because now they're senior. It was really hard for them.
That's a good gig.
Yeah.
But we had people bring all kinds of stuff, like because I was down in the largest berthing. I think it was nominally about 250 racks. It just spans the whole ship, right?
That's nuts.
And so if you were like the senior dude, if you were like the person who'd been on and you were on the ship longer than you were even supposed to be, like if you were that guy, you got extra racks, right? So they would bring like a fucking TV, a power strip. They'd have like all their consoles and shit. And then they would use that extra rack as like, I'm putting my 32-inch TV here. We're playing,
Wow.
Yeah.
So you like standing
it got wild.
How many rack bill coordinators did it take to make a carrier rack bill? Was there multiple?
So every division did theirs.
Oh, okay.
Every division did their own. Because we had like in the department was like 500 people.
Right.
Well, it's supposed to be more. We were at like 70% manning when I was on board. So
classic.
But it should have been 500 people.
Sounds about right.
Do you have any other questions, Amber?
Did Dakota answer?
Yeah, I didn't bring anything crazy. I bought like little treats for myself, kind of like Kenny with the Kit Kats, but I think I remember it being like, I don't remember exactly what I brought, but I would eat one of them a week, if that makes sense. I think it was maybe like, I don't even remember what it was, but that was like the one thing I look forward to all week.
Yeah.
So it's like when it's finally Saturday night or something, I was like, I've waited all week for this, and now
yeah.
Just as like a little pick me up, as the weeks go by. But I brought ramen noodles because sometimes the fucking
vending machine would be out.
Hey man,
there'd be somebody already in the wardroom eating ice cream.
Yeah, if I ran out of ramen noodles, I could just buy more in the ship store. But
but they didn't always have the flavor you wanted.
That's right. You want the
spicy shrimp.
Yeah,
dude, that officer life. Crazy. He opens a second pack of ramen to get 2 flavor packs and then throws the noodles away.
Not even. He turns to his LPO. He's like, yeah, give me that.
Give me just the flavor pack. You eat them. You eat them raw.
You eat the plain noodles. So yeah, nothing exciting.
I mean, I'll say that the strangest thing I ever saw brought were definitely all in the sex toy family.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to imagine.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
The strangest thing that I ever saw that wasn't brought but was in that family was.
What do you mean it wasn't brought?
It wasn't brought. It was constructed on board.
Oh no!
No!
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Dishware.
Oh my god!
Jesus!
You never know what man is capable of.
Hard seas make hard sailors.
Oh, that's like prison. Honestly,
I mean, if you think about it,
crafting your own sex toys.
Most vessels, I would say, subs are also. The boats are. It's the weird microcosm you have is a little different because you have more camaraderie from the officer down to enlisted in some sense, but it's very gen pop prison type.
It is,
and that's just the nature of it.
I mean, that's why every time somebody asks you about the military, and they're like, Oh, how long you been in? How long how long you got until you get out?
Yeah.
Like,
Those
it
are the
is
two
prison,
questions in
huh?
order, right? Yeah. How long
Spent
you been
9
here?
years in the clink.
Yeah, pretty much.
When you're on IRR, that means you're just on parole.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's the same construct.
They let me out of good behavior.
Another funny,
Basically.
another funny thing
Basically.
that got brought to our boat. Speaking of officers, we were getting we had a prospective gain, so an officer that was gonna come to the boat, and their command sponsor or CDAD or however they knew each other, got in contact with him through Facebook and saw that he used to be a male model, and so he went out of his way to get basically a fat head, a gigantic life-size sticker blown up of some of his previous modeling photos.
Stop it.
Took it down to the boat and then plastered it on the inside of the door to the head in the officer head. So the first time this guy, he finally showed up, he went to take a shit and closed the door, and there was his own modeling photo, life-size, blown up on the inside of the door.
I love that, and like that's one thing that like I think the officer community does at a much higher level and better level than we ever did as enlisted, which is just fuck with each other. Like they go to the extremes to.
We got more time.
They learned, they got more time, and they learned in college how to do hazing right.
Bro, it is insane. Oh.
Okay,
man.
so I have one more question if you want to do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
What thing did you miss while you were underway that you would normally have taken for granted, like when you were home?
So much.
The internet. I think here's the reason I say the internet is because we would get in these hours and hours and hours long arguments about something being true or not. That was literally a 10-second Google away. And we did not have access to that information.
But somebody downloaded like
we had Wikipedia.
Wikipedia, yeah.
Yeah, we had Wikipedia, but you didn't always have it personally.
Yeah. And it wasn't all of it.
It wasn't all of it. You would have these days long arguments that would go, you'd go to the next day happens and you go to watch and you're still arguing about whether this thing actually happened or not. And you just can't find out. And so at one point I had a list in my phone of things like to look up to shove in people's face. And I was wrong like 80% of the time, so I was just delete the note.
What movies are Michael Shannon in?
I can remember Michael Shannon's fucking name, dude.
I know.
I don't even know who that is. You know, that guy that always looks angry. And I went on for days. And then finally Mike was like, Michael Shannon?
Oh my God.
Jamie, put a picture of Michael Shannon up on the screen.
I'll put it up. Yeah, pull that shit up, Jamie. Does he always look angry?
I've never even heard of this man.
Oh,
but I'm sure if I see him,
you'll see him and you'll go, oh.
Yeah, you'll know.
That's his name.
I think like normal shit like ESPN, dog. I hated getting those sports updates through the fucking email, yo. And then like we weren't even underway, and then XXX Tentacion died. I was broken. Underway. I was on a fucking fast cruise, tied to the motherfucking pier, and nobody told me that fucking XXX Tentacion died, and I was losing it on the boat. I remember me and fucking Zach.
That's all it takes. That's your line right there for.
The kids' music. The kids that kid's question mark album was fire, dude. That shit was touching. He was going through some tough shit, man, and I was going through some tough shit too.
It is interesting the things that they choose to include in those news updates and the things that they don't.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say was just being regularly like in tune with what is going on with the world.
Yeah.
Like especially on I don't remember if we've talked about this on the show, but dude, when Kobe Bryant passed away, we literally it was like 5 fucking words long. It was like Kobe Bryant passed away in helicopter crash or something. I don't remember if it said the helicopter crash. Whatever. I don't know how to count. It was one sentence. It was one line.
And that's why I went to the Air Force. Sorry.
Yeah.
Kidding. Keep going.
But like nobody believed it at first. Like
I didn't believe it, and I saw it happen. I mean,
they weren't like sending the email around at first. It was just word of mouth. They're like, oh, this is like a rumor somebody decided to make up. But then
that's what we all thought.
Yeah, the EMC
bro, that shit was nuts.
Actually got on the 1MC. He's like, no, guys, this is real. We're going to send out the message to everybody now.
Damn.
I remember when we left Guam on deployment, we picked up our new XO along the way, and the first thing he said, like he walked into cruise mess, he's like, how many Bucks fans are here? I'm like, the only one who raised my hand. I'm like, he's like, we signed Tom Brady. Like, we're good. We made it.
Is that how you found out?
That's how I found out.
Wow, that's
my
crazy.
new XO
Nice.
told me. And I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, that's not true.
How the fuck signed Tom Brady?
Respectfully,
Shut the fuck
sure. Shut
Yeah.
your fucking mouth.
I was like, you know, I'm not involved in NBA, so when we heard that, I understood like people were like blown away by that. I was pretty neutral, but then like a month later, when the XO was like, "Yeah, we got Tom Brady," I'm like, that blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
You
And
knew
then we
you
won
was
the
getting the
Super
Super Bowl out of that.
Yeah, and then we
situation
won the
for
Super Bowl.
sure.
So fuck everybody else.
Does anybody else have anything?
I really like just sitting outside and listening to like the birds and being in the air and the sun. I really enjoy that. Every weekend, I'll wake up early before everybody else and go outside and just kind of sit because I have just nature behind my house. It's just all woods. So I can watch rabbits run around. I can watch deer come across. I can listen to birds. That is what I missed. Just
love
nature.
listening to
And
birds.
especially when you are in the military and you move near a military base, there's not a lot of wildlife. There's not a lot. You're usually near a large metropolitan city.
Depends
San
on what base
Diego.
you're on.
That's true.
The Point Loma, we had them rattlesnakes, dude.
Yeah,
They had the signs everywhere.
San Diego also had the some native parrots that I never got to see
I don't know.
until
And all
I
the
moved.
seals and sea lions.
I don't think native is the right word for the parrots, but yeah, they were there.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They were in the wild. They weren't supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just being out in nature. I remember being underway, and the first underway I went on, the first time we did a surface ventilate and getting that rush of oxygen back and just being wide-eyed and oxygen high is so fucking weird.
But when
and
you
watching
say that,
colors rush back.
what you mean is normal.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But watching
When you say
colors
watching
come back.
Colors
Yeah.
come back?
Yeah.
Can you
It
explain that?
is a tangible difference when you have fresh air and when you don't. I mean, it's wild.
So
I mean, I saw
basically,
the
when you're-
pictures of you guys underway, and you guys look gray.
yeah,
like,
so
it's
oxygen
just like-
levels lower. Okay.
Right.
At the highest point in continental U.S., I want to say is Pikes Peak, Colorado's 14,100 and some odd feet. When you're that high, you can acclimate because you're slowly going up, but still up there, you're around 19% oxygen. Our boat every now and again would dip down to as low as 16.5, 17%.
IceX got really bad because we couldn't surface.
Yes.
Yeah, IceX.
So, your oxygen levels go down, your color perception goes down, your mental acuity goes down. Everyone's really lethargic. So when you hit that first surface ventilate and you've been at a pretty low oxygen content for a while, I mean, it's for real. I mean, I
It's
didn't
a
sleep
big
for like
rush.
24 hours. You just
That's
stay awake
crazy.
because now
I
you're
didn't know
oxygen
that
high.
I didn't know you lost your like color perception.
Mhm.
I didn't know that. That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But not to worry though, because fucking everything is seafoam green.
Yeah, or gray,
Or
machinery
gray,
gray.
baby.
Gray.
Dude, we'd be
Machinery
painting and
gray.
they'd be like, "Why'd you put bilge gray on the machinery? That's supposed to be machinery gray." It's like, dude, tell me the difference. Come on. They're gray.
Or it's the color of rust.
It's
right.
the luster when the line.
Don't forget the seafoam green. The seafoam green in the engine room is supposed to make you feel better. It's supposed to make you happier.
I'll say it is 100% better than going into an unpaid engine room. That would make
that's
me
true.
fucking kill myself.
Do you remember when our engine room was fucking 30% red?
Yeah, it was fucking bleeding everywhere.
From all the
Champion.
what's that shit called?
Champion.
No,
Well,
the
that's
anti-rust.
Triumph.
Triumph. That's it. Triumph. Yeah.
Yeah.
Triumph.
Did
I
you
never
call
brought
it
in rust
champion?
spots with Triumph.
Champion.
Listen, Champion and
something
Triumph are
positive,
not
like-
far from each other.
yeah,
Like,
something
if you think
positive.
about it, It is something like that.
Yeah, wasn't that shit called Muhammad Ali or something like that?
Whatever. Fuck you guys.
And then we got the red oil.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that special new oil, yeah.
Dude, someone's fucking cousin made out like a bandit on some goddamn federal deal on some synthetic bullshit.
Synthetic bullshit.
Jonah Hill will be playing that guy in a movie in the next 5 years.
Yeah. Red 40 dyed baby oil as a fucking lubricant.
It was baby oil. That shit was slick as fuck.
It was.
Dakota or Michael?
I'll just give you rapid fire. Just
Dude, these guys didn't lose shit.
Fucking no, come on now, come on. Just the creature comforts, like sleeping in your own bed and being able to turn over without getting stuck between you and the rack above you. Getting to pick what your own meals are. Getting to take a shower in a clean shower.
Picking your own meals.
This guy got to eat. Can you imagine?
What did you say?
I said this guy got to eat. Can you imagine?
Don't get it started because we'll talk about something about eating and going places.
Hey, we didn't experience it.
No, you can just Google that shit, dude. That's not class.
Sometimes just like being in a shower that's like clean and you have hot water constantly.
Oh, did you run out of hot water for real?
Oh yeah, it would always go back and forth. Like, well, the problem was because I could see how a submarine would never run out of hot water, but on the surface ship, we did. The
end.
Yeah, we did.
You would think we wouldn't, but we did.
Bro, we have a singular hot water heater.
Well, so part of the problem was that we were always low on pure water, hot water.
You
So
shower in
it was
pure
always
water? You
Hot
really shower
water.
with pure water? Okay,
Hot
bottled
water.
Okay, good.
I knew
Shut
what you
up.
meant, Dakota.
What
I knew what you meant.
I got stuck in.
Oh, it's
Shut up.
deionized.
No, listen.
You can feel it stripping all these unclean ions.
Our ROs could never keep up, right? Our ROs could never keep up, so we were always low on water. And so they would turn off hot water so that, and they would restrict head hours. You couldn't use the
So
head.
you couldn't get no head.
Couldn't use the water fountains. You couldn't use. They would pass out bottled water, so you wouldn't drink the water out of the
Oh wow.
on cruise master in the wardroom, and
Where
then
y'all put the plastic at?
in the fucking ocean where you put everything else.
Where it belongs.
No, for real.
And then so yeah, no
That's
hot
Mark,
water.
That's fucking Mark Rober's problem, dude. He'll clean that shit
Yeah,
up.
to get you to take shorter showers. There's no hot water, so like the shower's cold, the ship's rocking, you're like slamming up against this slimy stainless steel wall, and it's nasty. And then the shower curtain comes in at you, and you're like, get the fuck on me.
I had a curtain.
Oh yeah, curtains are weird. Curtains are weird.
Bro, I don't
like
want
the
that
curtain.
curtain to touch me, dog. I
it's
don't like the curtain in my
nasty.
house to touch me, homie.
It's so
That shit's
nasty.
There was a
weird.
point in time where I couldn't get the middle level head shower door to latch because the geniuses put the latch
And it
on
would
the
just
fucking
slam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would slam open and shut while you're in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oyster angles and dangles. Dude.
Yeah.
You like that bitch open up and somebody taking this shit.
The geniuses that designed the 688 class submarine put the latch to the shower door on the fucking outside.
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah.
Where would you want it?
Yeah. Right. That way,
Hey, bro, do you mind locking me in the shower?
That way I can get locked in the shower. Yeah.
Yeah, naturally.
But also, if you think about it, the way that the lock mechanism worked, because the door would fold and basically slide onto points of contact, two axial points of contact.
So
even if
was
it was
like
locked,
like a closet door, like a foldy closet door.
it was like and it would fold in accordion this way.
Yeah. Okay.
So even with the lock on the outside, it would, if it wasn't tight enough, it would still just fucking sling open and shut, even if it was locked. So every time I showered, I would put my dumb fucking shower shoe against the damn door, so no one got a peep show.
World's finest Navy, everybody. Michael, did you have any things that you missed?
A lot of stuff. The biggest two, and this is like so stupid. but like we've already kind of touched on them, is like any sense of privacy. You're never not within arm's reach of 7 people.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you are. Like if you want to go, you got to use the head, you know, like we had stalls, like bathroom stalls, like in a public bathroom. And they would have doors, but the doors would break within like a month. So they were just always open, right?
Boot camp
so yeah,
style.
I mean, yeah, no, it was very boot campy. So that was always weird. And then like I hated the fact that if I wanted to do something as simple as take a shower, I had to like put on my shower shoes, go up some stairs, walk down the hall in front of God and everybody, right? And there were times where like, because our heads were like right off the main strip, like the most walked path in the whole ship of 5,000 people. And like people would take a wrong turn and then you're just like naked. Because, you know, also the curtain that you were supposed to have ripped off and you're just like, morning, ma'am. You know, like, what are you going to do? you know? But it was, that was
the logistics of the shower are an interesting thing to explore. There was never like a comfortable way to get to the shower. Because the question is always like, do I go naked? Or do I go with underwear and like jam them somewhere? Like, how do I get to the shower? That is a very
Tuck them up in the overhead.
Yeah, but then you would go in to like brush your teeth and there was just underwear jammed in there that people left.
Yeah, nasty shit.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Kenny, so most of the time, when I was not in first class berthing, when I was in Gen Pop, I always took undies, right? Just because there's too many fucking people with their feet and fucking dirty arms and shit hanging out of racks.
Oh yeah, you can get a minor hand job walking through berthing.
I know.
Yeah.
So by the time I made it to first class berthing, I was like, oh, cool. It's a shorter walk, and I don't have to worry about the Gen Pop riffraff hands and feet trying to give me tuck jobs on my way to the head. So whenever I would do that, I'd just wrap up with a towel and go.
That's
what
I usually did.
I was pretty senior, and it was like at that point, it's like, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah.
I think my brain just kind of assumes that you all have seen each other naked at some point.
No, not
it's
necessarily.
It's not really.
Not unless you're probably in boot camp with somebody, but
boot
other
camp,
than that, no.
But even in boot camp, you're not even trying to like you're not trying to look at anybody, and then also like you got 5 minutes, homie. Like you ain't got time to do
boot
anything.
Boot camp showers are
wash
prison
your
rules,
body.
dude.
I don't mean like you guys are like looking. I just imagine you guys have nowhere to put like your change of clothes.
Oh yeah, you
like
don't
you're
change.
Talking about.
No, you don't change in there.
You change when you get back to the rack, and it's
back to the rack, yeah.
Pitch fucking black.
Yes.
Like pitch black. What Mike is talking about, it's truly hazardous because people will be on a top rack and they'll sleep with their leg extended, and you will just walk into a clothesline. You just, like, not even have any idea. It is pitch black.
That's why tall motherfuckers don't get the top racks.
To limit the length of the clothesline sticking out?
I got a fucking top rack.
Especially if you're like 5'6" or something like that. That is perfect, like straight to the fucking dome.
Yeah, but then you have to do a fucking full high jump to get into your bed.
Dude, so depending on where you are, we actually, my wife and I had this conversation because my wife was able to come down on boats regularly,
right?
Before we were married, and I was like, oh, this is how I climbed in, and I would grab the one hand on the rack and then one hand on a light fixture, and just swing my legs in the top.
Yep.
And she was like, you have to do this every fucking time.
Oh yeah.
You have to do a Ninja Warrior fucking half.
Yeah, especially if you're in the corner.
Getting in is the easy part. It's getting out there.
I was about to say, don't have to get out of that bitch for something emergent, because I'm always top rack. I'm coming out of that motherfucker full force, baby.
Yeah. Well, another thing about how dark it is you could be getting out of your rack and drop kick somebody.
Yeah,
that's walking through, and they have no idea. Neither of you know it's coming.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I get out of the rack, especially like when you've been watching movies and shit, so you don't get to like
you don't get to like
exactly. You haven't adjusted, so you don't know who the fuck is down there, and you just stomp a motherfucker in the back. They in the rack, like they in the rack trying to grab something real quick. Motherfucker bent over like this, and now you just stomp their back in, homie.
Yeah, not fun. A lot of times the climate is just not conducive for sleeping. Like
True.
Shit,
I
it'd be
know
brick
for
cold.
you guys it's probably cold as shit, but for
Cold
us
as
it was
fuck.
hot as shit in the berthing. It's so hot you could
It
never
depends.
get cooled down enough to actually like get a restful sleep.
It's
Well,
funny.
the
sounds
cold wasn't
miserable.
bad, but then the cob would be like, "Is that a personal blanket? Get that shit the fuck out of here!" He'd be like, "Dude, it's
Yeah.
15 degrees. What are you doing?"
Yeah,
No,
remember
it'd
when people had
be,
sleeping bags and they were like, "Get that shit out of here."
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I'm dying.
It's so cold.
The server rack is in aft cruise berthing, and it actually exhausts into somebody's rack.
Yeah.
So,
Oh no.
like,
That
you
bitch
knew
hot.
if you got that rack, like, people didn't like you. You know, like you gave the shitty person that.
Right.
It was the bottom one inboard on a gang's corner.
I feel
Yeah,
like
no.
Bahrain in that motherfucker. Don't go to.
It would be
Hey,
like
don't
50
fuck around and
degrees
end up in hot water, baby, because your ass ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, it would be like 50 degrees in berthing, and then that one fucking rack would just be a goddamn
Like 80
furnace.
degrees. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like magic.
Okay, Joe, hit me with the Bruce Buffer.
Are you just gonna ask me until I finally do?
Every time
Yes.
we come back.
Good morning, Vietnam.
All right, we're back. We're gonna play some games. Amber has an alternative to 50-50-90 this week, so Amber, please fill us in.
Okay, have you guys ever watched Taskmaster?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so it's an English show, British show, and basically there's a taskmaster, and then he has like somebody who makes up the games, who makes up all these tasks, and then there's 5 contestants who have to do the task. So I thought I would be the taskmaster and the task writer, and have you guys do 2 tasks.
Cool.
Is that cool?
Okay.
Is
Yeah,
that
let's do it.
2 each, or the whole group is trying to accomplish 2?
You guys are competing against each other to win the prize. Whoever wins. Okay, so the first one, you're gonna have a few minutes to do it, but bring the most surprising thing into the camera frame without using your hands. And then you just like find something, bring it in, but you can't use your hands. And you're also trying to win the most points. So something super surprising that I would find funny.
Okay.
Does it have to be in my room where I'm at right now?
You can go and do whatever you want.
Oh, interesting.
Surprising.
I'm not gonna bring what I should bring in here. Just based on.
No hands.
I don't want to bring that in here. My mouth. I don't want to do that. I can't do that.
So pick something else.
Here you go. This is a lovely custom painting of a crazy zombie lady spinning.
Are you using your hands?
I am not. I'm trying to use my wrists,
Okay,
sort of,
okay.
and it's not that easy.
Okay, got it. Oh, look at you.
Nice.
How many pounds is that? 10?
You have very strong teeth.
Yeah, that should hurt my jaw. That was.
Kenny
should
has
hurt.
been gone a very long time.
It is now.
There's the light that used to be in our dining room.
You just got it laying around. Yeah,
Is that yours, Jimmy?
Obviously,
$100
this is
bucks.
Pumbaa from Lion King, but he has a
Where's
really
Timon?
cool feature. Timon is further up on the shelf. I couldn't grab him with just my wrist. But this one has a really cool feature.
Uh-oh.
to where I could put snacks in it.
Oh.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
So it's not great, you guys. Don't get your hopes up. This isn't my house, so I'm at the mercy of whatever the people here have.
He's just stealing shit.
They had in there. So the people I'm renting from are in their 70s, so they're very sweet. But they've got a whole drawer full of old VHS tapes, and I found Super Mario N64.
Hell yeah. There you go.
Oh, sick.
Well, listen, there's not an N64 here, so I don't know what to do with it.
What are the chances that they think that's a movie?
Pretty high.
Pretty high.
The kids are loving these nowadays.
If my
Wow.
All right, do 5 points to 0 since we got 6 people.
I don't know if I can do any zeros. Everything was kind of surprising.
Okay, you got to count. You got to factor in the presentation as well.
Yeah, and you lost your glasses. Can you even see us right now?
I'm nearsighted. I'm not fucking blind.
Yeah.
Like,
why do you always aggressively respond to everything?
That's negative.
I'm a foot away from the screen.
How did you not know what my glasses were for?
But let's respond with a...
No, I'm just saying, like, why would I not be wearing my glasses if I couldn't see?
All his style points for carrying a weight in his mouth have gone away.
4 times, by the way. 4
Yeah.
times.
I'm just saying. That's 10 pounds. That shit fucking hurts.
That's 10. Why is it so big? It's 10 pounds? I thought it was 45.
Yeah,
it's made out of rubber.
Yeah. For like,
Can you
deadlift.
just compress that shit together? Like, yeah.
I was truly impressed.
He's like a Rottweiler.
I mean, I'm not gonna try a metal one. They got nothing to sink your teeth into. Like,
yeah.
It wouldn't work.
No grit.
Okay, so I think least surprising was probably BBC. Sorry, Jimmy.
The expected unexpected. Yeah.
This shit is racist.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming.
You don't like me or my BBC. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh my god.
Cut that.
Okay, and then I think Kid's Toy was next, so Pumbaa. And then painting. And then the Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64, and then Joe's, and then Kenny's was the most surprising.
It
I
was
did better than I thought I did.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say what I normally say, which is that you're picking him because he's your favorite person. But his thing that was fucking crazy. He came in there with a whole light fixture. That shit was nuts.
On his head, and that thing is heavy.
Yeah, it's not great.
That shit looked crazy when he brought it in.
Okay.
I didn't pre-plan either because I tried to put my head through the hanging part, but it's too narrow. So I had to put the whole thing over my head.
You're just gonna wear it all like a headpiece.
I was about to say, were you gonna
try to
like
hang it like this, like down from my neck.
like fucking Flavor Flav.
Yes. So, I just want to ask why you own a fake 45-pound rubber plate.
It's not
pound.
It's not a fake.
It's literally for
it's a real 10-pound.
It's a real 10-pounder for fucking deadlifting and shit.
Yeah,
dude,
one,
and hang clean.
It was cheap because I got it during COVID when you couldn't buy shit. And 2, it's for deadlifting so you can slam it into the ground and it don't fucking matter.
Can we ask Joe one more question that he'll get really angry at? Like just one more. I feel like we need a third one.
Yeah, I'm always.
Yeah. How'd you even see it without your glasses?
I'm surprised you haven't sold all your weights for drug money.
I can fucking see it.
Does it count as using your hands if you have to hold them out ahead of you to feel it?
Apparently, a common thing for people that are on meth is they think they
They think they're Velma from Scooby Doo. Is that what you were gonna say?
They think the FBI is after them all the time. Like it's fucking
neck
nuts.
and jaws.
Oh my god.
He actually wouldn't have been able to carry it with his teeth had it not been for the meth. So.
Yeah. All right, what's the next one?
All right.
Okay, so this last one is not really for points. It's just something that you guys have to figure out. So before the show started, I gave somebody a cookie. And you each have 2 questions to ask anybody. Whoever has the cookie doesn't want anyone to know that they have the cookie. If you guess it correct, you are the winner. If you are the person who has the cookie and nobody guesses it, then you win.
So if we get asked a question, do we have to be truthful in our answer?
No.
No?
Wait.
Well, this feels impossible.
Is this a...
The cookie person's on this show?
Yes.
Oh.
I assume you like texted it. It's not obviously a physical...
Look at that.
That was a cookie.
The mail's good these days. You'd be surprised.
The detective work that you can accomplish with no glasses is astounding.
Okay, so listen.
You're
everyone,
really reaching for these, dude.
Everyone gets to ask 2 people 1 question. You can ask the same person 2 questions, but you only get 2 questions. And you cannot ask, do you have the cookie?
Can I ask?
But if you can lie, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Can they lie or not? We need to establish that. That's the important piece here.
I guess if you're not asking directly if they're the one with the cookie.
Then they should be able to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you're not making a guess until the very end. So you also get to hear everybody else's questions to everyone.
Okay, cool.
And it'll go Kenny, Joe, Jim, Mike, Dakota, and then Michael.
Okay.
Did you say I'm first?
Mm-hmm.
Dakota, when is the last time you had correspondence with Amber?
Probably the last time we filmed the podcast, I think.
Okay. Jimmy, when's the last time you had correspondence with Amber?
When we got on the podcast today.
Yep, that was a pretty poor question on my part. Okay.
Take your notes, Kenny. Take your notes.
All right, Joe, you're up.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
I'm gonna find out who got this motherfucking cookie.
Joe, make sure you look directly at whoever you're asking, so I can see them.
So I can
tell if you can see them or not.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw, but I had a little bit on my fingers and I swiped it off real quick. My teeth fucking hurt.
We saw. Did you?
This motherfucker is still brushing his teeth with meth. It's crazy.
My teeth are killing me.
They won't stop moving.
Okay.
Oh my god. I'm gonna cry.
Can I just make a guess? I don't even want to ask questions.
No.
No.
What?
That's
You
not
can
the case.
skip. You can choose not to ask anybody anything.
Okay, yeah, you skip me.
Okay.
It's me now?
Jimmy, yeah.
Old.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I'm not giving you
Mikey-
guys any more
Mikey,
information.
is it your favorite cookie?
I don't have a specific preference of cookie.
Oh. Interesting.
That's a fucking lie.
Liar.
Joe,
Joe, are you chewing on the piece of the weight right now?
How is he supposed to get stronger teeth?
Everlasting gobstopper, dude.
No, it's dark chocolate trail mix.
Yeah, sure it is. Dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Very dark.
Looks like black tar heroin.
I was about to say look like black tar heroin. Okay. I guess my next question is for Kenny. Is it Is it your favorite type of cookie?
No.
Okay.
What a fucking question. Do you
So
like
so far my thoughts have been it's definitely Jimmy too. Jimmy doesn't know what's happening.
I'm trying to find out who got this motherfucking cookie, so I'm prefacing the question specifically for the cookie.
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, Mikey, you're up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it. Let me clarify. Did we confirm that the person that is the cookie
Who's the
possessor?
Cookie? You go. Oh, okay, possession of the cookie.
If the cookie possessor gets asked a question, do they have to answer it truthfully about?
Yes.
I think everyone does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Dakota. When did Amber tell you that you were the person with the cookie?
I told Kenny that the last time I spoke to Amber
That's not what I asked.
when we did our podcast. That's what I already told Kenny, dude. That's the same thing.
It's the same question. It is.
The last time I spoke to Amber was when we did our podcast.
Okay.
When we did the podcast. All right. The one that we're doing, got it.
No, the last week.
Podcast that we're doing right now. Right.
That's the last time I spoke to him.
Hey, look at this. Look at Mikey, the fucking detective, fucking cooking over here.
All right, Joe. Same question.
Right?
When did Amber?
I don't know if that's the fucking meth or if it's actually his glasses.
Where were you when Amber told you you were supposed to have the cookie?
Mark.
He didn't hear or see
I didn't
that.
hear.
You gotta run that.
I had my glasses on, so I couldn't hear you.
I said.
Yo, this is nuts.
Where were you when Amber told you that you were the one with the cookie?
You're being investigated, motherfucker. Mike.
I guess
Mike's gonna put that flashlight in your booty hole.
I guess nowhere, because she's never told me that.
Okay.
So I guess in the fucking ether of the void. I
You
don't
just
know.
couldn't see where he was. He wasn't wearing his glasses.
All right. Who's next, Dakota?
I don't remember the order.
Yes, it is Dakota. I'm sorry.
It is Dakota, and then it's Mike.
Kenny, when you and Amber were trying to come up with content for the podcast, was the cookie game her idea or your idea?
When we took our last pee break, that's when I found out that we weren't doing 50-50-90.
That's so fucking dirty.
So that's also when she gave you the cookie, huh?
Is that your second question?
No, I'm just making observations.
Okay, I'm not going to answer that.
Observing and questioning.
Because you also can't ask that question.
Well, I'm pretty sure she says she gave it before we started the podcast, right? Didn't you say that?
That's a good point. Mike.
Which one? There's three.
What?
There's three.
There's three. That's his vision.
Oh God!
No, my middle name is Mike.
Nah, dude, that's the fucking mess again. When you're on meth, there is another person.
I'm not making that up. My middle name is Michael.
Your name is
Pick
Joe
number
Mike.
3, my lord. Pick number 3.
If we can't lie, I'm not lying. My middle name is Michael. So
mine too.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my god.
So which one?
So
my middle name is Marquand.
Marquand.
Dude, I'm gonna have to stop cutting out all these racial stereotypes that you fit into. It's exhausting.
They're on purpose.
It's just giving you extra work.
Yeah.
I don't know. Joe. I'm changing it. Mike, I'm not asking you anymore. I'm asking Joe.
Okay.
You mean Joe Mike?
Yeah, like
Yeah, Joe Mike.
Joe Mike.
Is the reason 'cause you didn't ask any questions? Is the reason you didn't ask any questions because you didn't want to give away the fact that you had the cookie?
No, it's because I don't want to give you guys any more information than you can find on your own. Why would I help the competition?
Okay.
This is survival of the fittest, and I don't plan on dying.
Legit strat.
Okay.
It's a narc
All
strat.
right.
Us, but
Michael, you're up. I'm sweating. I've been laughing so hard I'm sweating.
welcome
Me
to
too.
Texas.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Mike, not Joe Mike, not me.
Mike, Joe's sweating for a different reason, though. It's 27.
Joe Mike.
Would you say that your poker face is good enough to win games?
No.
I didn't think so.
Who are you asking?
That
He was
Mikey.
asking Mike.
Oh,
He was asking
yeah.
Mike.
He said no.
Yeah.
And
You can call him Mark Juan. It's okay.
Got him. That's actually hilarious. That's mad funny. Sorry.
Amber, does this person know they have the cookie?
Oh, great question. I probably should have asked that in the beginning.
It's the last question I asked.
Okay.
It'd be funny if she said no.
Yeah.
I was like 50-50 on it. I was like, there's a solid chance none of us have an idea at all.
Okay, so now everybody gets to guess. Same order.
Same order. All right.
I think it's. Oh, sorry. Same order. Sorry.
We should go backwards.
Do you want to go backwards?
No,
go
no,
backwards.
it puts me on the spot. No.
Let's go
That's a
backwards.
bullshit plan.
Let's go backwards.
Should we let Jimmy go first? Jimmy Marquand?
That does not sound
Wow.
good. I
That's a
just
great
like-
plan.
Just call him by his
like
full name.
James.
Why don't you? Let him know
Jimmy.
he's in
Like,
trouble.
if we're gonna do Marquand, we got to do James Marquand.
Give him his government
Yeah.
name.
Jimmy Marquand sounds crazy.
Jimmy Quan.
Jim
So who's
Quan.
guessing first?
I'll do it.
All right.
And then you can pass it. Whoever you want to go next, you can tell him to go next.
I think it's Joe.
Good guess.
I think it's Joe.
All right. Who's going next?
Oh, Kenny's going next.
Kenny.
Okay. I think it's Jimmy. Popcorn Joe.
I think it's Mikey, but Jimmy would definitely be my second pick.
Rice.
Popcorn.
Oh shit. Dakota. Jeez.
I think it's
Popcorn
Joe.
burned.
I think it's Joe. I think he didn't want to participate because he didn't want to give anything away so early because he didn't really know a
So
strategy.
all different guesses. So, oh wait, did Jimmy guess Joe also?
Jimmy
Yes.
guessed Joe.
Okay. So 2 for Joe and 1 for Jimmy, and 1 for Mikey.
I guess I am pretty suspicious, huh?
Okay, so I'm popcorning. I
It's
guess
all a fucking mess.
Mike.
Which one?
There are 3.
You,
As
Mike.
previously.
Which one?
Mike, not Michael, and
Okay.
also not Meth Mike.
Yeah, it keeps getting worse and worse.
I'm sorry, Joe.
Nah, that's good. This is better when we're like we're riffing, you know?
I really wanted to lean Dakota. But it's got to be Joe. It's got to be Joe.
Damn.
All right, 3 Joes.
Hell yeah.
All right, Michael.
All right. I've seen Kenny when he's actually confused, and that face
That's rude.
happened. more than once. So I don't think it's him, based on the fact that he's had genuine confusion on his face and greater than one conversation so far. Dakota and Mike both have fucking awful poker faces. I don't think either of you all could pull it off. I'm kind of 50-50 on it being Johnny and Joe.
Did you say Johnny?
Jimmy.
No.
Oh, I heard Johnny.
I said James.
Clean your glasses, dude. You can't hear anything.
I'm sorry if my subtitles are coming across a little
Johnny.
blurry, bro.
Johnny is short for Jack. All
Correct.
work, no play make Jack a dull boy.
Oh my god.
All right.
I'm gonna commit because I don't think has anybody called out Jimmy yet?
Yeah, I have.
Yes.
So we've got 2 versus 1.
The only one who hasn't is Dakota.
True. Look at him. Come on.
Look at him. Look at his face.
There's no way. There's no way. I think it's Joe.
Yeah, look at that face compared to this face.
Look at his face.
So
I don't know what that means, but yeah.
You said Joe?
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, the cookie keeper, will you reveal yourself?
Fucking Mike. God damn.
It was me.
It was Dakota.
It was me.
You fucking cookie loving bastard.
You lied to my question.
Did I though?
When was the last time you had correspondence?
Unless
with
she
Amber?
gave it to him a week
He
ago.
said the podcast.
He said the last time we filmed the podcast.
Yeah, the last.
That's what he
And
said.
then I
and
asked
he said,
him
and then he doubled down
specifically-
on it and he said last week. He said
So,
that. And correspondence means you have to respond back, correct?
Sure.
That's what correspondence is you can deliver a message and it's not received, or they can look at the message, but correspondence is I've replied.
Yeah, we can go with that definition either way.
So I wasn't up really on the you have to tell the truth or anything when Kenny asked, I'll be honest. But when Mike asked, I did not tell a lie because I said the last time I spoke
You kept
to
saying spoke.
Amber, and Amber texted me before the thing, and I didn't speak to her at all.
And also when he answered Kenny, he said when we did the podcast.
Yeah.
No, he said the last time we did the podcast.
Yeah,
I don't know. You'll have to check
today.
You have to
And
check
then I think he said the last time we did the podcast, and then for Mike he said Mike asked the last time that you spoke to her.
No,
He
I
said-
asked him when did Amber tell him that he had the cookie.
I
And
really
he
didn't
said
answer your
that
question.
I haven't. No, he didn't. That's why I was going to pick you. But I was
he
like,
did. He
ugh.
fumbled around that question. He didn't actually answer that
So
question.
does that mean
And
Dakota
he
gets
said
all
that.
the points?
Yeah.
There was no points on that one though.
Well, Dakota won.
Dakota won that game. Okay.
He won all the fake points.
Right.
All right, Kenny, you got to audit his response to whether he lied to you.
Yeah.
Or not.
Oh,
we'll
it'll
see
be
it in post.
perfectly clear. Dakota, when is the last time you had correspondence with Amber?
Probably the last time we filmed the podcast, I think.
Okay.
Probably the last time we filmed the podcast. Probably the last time we filmed the podcast.
Yeah, lie.
I expect to see this as like a serial drama. Yeah.
So next
I don't have
week,
that
do I
much
have
free
to wear
time,
the
but I'll do
cone
my
of shame?
In the
Fun
interim,
stuff.
you guys should definitely watch Taskmaster. It's fantastic.
It's a very good show.
Yeah, after you said it, I realized that I have seen it because it's got the big tall,
Yeah, great
Yes.
ladies.
big tall. Yeah.
And
I
Alex
watched
Big
Horne.
tall guys, the Taskmaster.
I watched the Australian version with Mackenzie.
Whose line is it anyway?
It's pretty
With my
funny.
boy,
What's
Wayne
the
Brady.
Australian
That is
version
not the
called?
same
Hell
thing.
yeah, Wayne.
They're all
It's the
called
same exact
Taskmaster.
show, but
Yeah.
with Aussie comedians.
Oh,
New
okay.
Zealand has
We
one.
tried to watch one of them.
America made one that's fucking horrible.
It always is.
But yeah, the
Typical.
British one is the OG. All right. We'll call that an episode 9. Probably have to
Oh, yeah.
cut most of that segment out.
Yeah, that's
And the
fine.
last one.
What are you talking about? That was fantastic.
That was fun.
All right. Well,
Mark
we'll see,
one.
we'll see you guys next
Is-
week.
Like and subscribe.